Good evening and welcome to Live United. Live United is an opportunity to share services and events going on here in the Monadnock region that make a difference in people's lives. Today I'm joined by Lori Meisner. Lori is from Southwestern Community Services and she joins me from the New Hope, New Horizons program. So welcome, Lori.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for being here. You know, New Hope, New Horizons is really a pretty unique program here in the Monadnock region. I know there's some other, people might think similar types of services perhaps happening, but you really work with a very unique population. So I would love if you would share with the public a little bit about the history of how New Hope, New Horizons came about and who you're actually working with here.
Well, New Hope, New Horizons was founded back in 1967 by a group of families who had children who had disabilities. Back in that day, children were not going to the public school system. There was no mandate to provide an education. So the parents wanted to provide some kind of educational opportunities for their children. So they started a program called New Hope, which was a school for kids who had disabilities. Then those kids kind of grew up and the parents are like, okay, what are we going to do now? So back in the early 70s, sheltered workshops were pretty much the norm. So they created a sheltered workshop so their children could move from, school into the work world. Over the years, the whole idea of sheltered employment for people with disabilities has changed, and as the philosophy of services have changed, so has New Hope, New Horizons. And now our focus is on community involvement and creating independence and opportunity for people in their own communities.
Now, you're still working with folks who may have disabilities or needs.
Correct.
And I know one of the things that you don't just help them with sort of those daily living educational pieces. It's about being part of the workforce. It's part of really living their lives independently.
Right. I mean, absolutely. People with disabilities are people first. Mm-hmm. So they want the same things in life that you and I want. And what's important to us? It's having family, it's having friends, it's having a job, it's connecting with people in our community. It's about networks. So a big part of what we do is get people matched up with employers and get them out in the workforce. They earn a paycheck. They feel valued. They show the skills that they do have. They make new friends and acquaintances. And they're actually giving back to the community by performing real work in real work settings.
And it sounds like they have the opportunity to really live their lives and achieve all of those things that, as you said, everybody wants to in their lives. To be able to live independently or, be able to rent an apartment and go out and hold that job. I know you also do some very nice social activities for folks as well, and that people can come there for support.
Right.
We all need support in our lives. We have stress, we have things going on. So talk to us a little bit about that.
We have a central site, which is located at 63 Community Way. And here we offer a variety of activities for people that help them become more independent, to teach them social skills, to work on their physical therapy needs or their personal needs, their communication needs. They learn daily living skills. They learn how to cook, and they learn how to, play different kinds of games that are like educational in nature. And we also go out in the community a lot with people. We go to the library, we go to the bowling alley, we go to art exhibits. We also do a lot of creative things at our program. We're very arts-oriented. We have a wonderful connection with Antioch University and their dance and movement therapy program. And every year we have third-year interns that come and spend 9 months with us, about 20 hours a week. And they do all sorts of wonderful things with our folks. They can provide one-on-one sort of counseling, creative expression kind of groups. They do small group activities. And then they also help us with our annual performance, which is held every year in April, which is a huge gala where people dance and move and, perform and show off their creative sides. And, Cheshire TV is always there to film the performance for us. And people are just so thrilled to be in front of a camera and show off all the hard work that they've done over the course of a year.
That's just great. So you have such a mixture of things going on there. You've got the educational, rich history of educational, and supporting that daily living skills and those that independence in people's lives. Wondering if you have any needs that you have from the community to really support a program like this.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we can always use people who are willing to come in and offer an hour or two a week, maybe come in and play a game with somebody or go for a walk with the group, join our dance and movement group, be part of our performance. Maybe you are artistic or you play an instrument and you'd like to share your talents with our folks. I mean, we love it when people come in. We have a gentleman that comes in and plays the piano once a week for us for a half an hour, and that's just great. Every now and then we have some cello students that come in and will play music for us. So whatever talent you may have, or even if you just have an hour, come and read with somebody. Play a game, take a walk, join us at the YMCA and help us in the, do some of our therapeutic activities in the pool or help somebody walk around the track.
So really some great volunteer opportunities there for anybody, and it could be any skill that you have or something you just may enjoy doing, and perhaps being with other people to do it with. So it sounds like it could be a benefit to both the volunteer and to the individual who's receiving
that. We like to hope so.
Service.
I think you also get to meet some really wonderful people when you come and volunteer. The folks that we serve are just so unique and so wonderful and so open and giving that you really do. I really feel like you gain a lot by having the experience of building a relationship. It's quite wonderful.
And I know one of the other things that we talked about before we went on air is your relationship with employers in the area and how important that is, and that there's a real opportunity there as well. So can you share with the community how employers could be engaged with New Hope, New Horizons?
We definitely have people who want to work, who maybe are working only a few hours a week now, but have many basic skills that can go into many different types of workforces and, workplaces. We provide support both to the employer and to the individual. We're willing to help with any training needs. We'll support the employer long-term in supervising that employee, learning their communication styles, and any way that we can support the employer to have this person in their company. We'll do things that are part-time. We'll do things that are intermittent. If you have, a big project that you need done, perhaps there's a piece of it that we can pick up and work on for, a month or two with, a small crew of people. Really, give us a call. We'll be happy to come and talk to you. We'll be happy to let you know about how we may be able to, fill a need or fill a gap in your company. And one thing that I think most employers who have hired people with disabilities will agree is you really get an employee who wants to work, who is there, rain, snow, sleet, whatever. They don't call in. They're there. They love their jobs. They're committed to their jobs. And they want to do their best. They're eager to please. And, it's a great opportunity. So feel free to give us a call at New Hope if you think you might be interested in learning more about how our services work.
So I'm going to have you share your phone number here in a minute, but before you do, you've talked about you're helping people with employment, engaging them in, therapeutic swimming and dance movement and these recreational services. So how does it make a difference in the lives of the people that you're serving?
For the individuals, I think it gives them an opportunity to feel good about themselves, it showcases their abilities. And everybody has abilities, and it's wonderful in this world to be able to show all the goodness about you instead of focusing on the things you can't do. It's also an opportunity for families to have a little respite during the day, so families can continue with their lives. They can go to work, and they know that their adult child who has a disability has a safe place to be out in the community, that they're supervised, that they're supported, and that they're, learning and growing and becoming more independent.
I think that's a really important message for the community to hear, that there's the impact on the individual's life and how you're making a difference for that person that you're serving, but that the impact on our community and our region is substantial, because we're giving people that opportunity to work, to be independent, to be self-sufficient in so many ways. And that respite care piece, just so critical, so that families can go to work, families can go grocery shopping and do these other things that also support their lives as a family unit, and support the lives of that individual. So I think it's fabulous that opportunity is there. You mentioned your phone number. If people wanted to access the service, how would they reach out to you?
Well, they can always contact our office. My direct line is area code 603-352-7512, and I'm at extension 4266. We also have a cell phone that you can call, and that number is 603-313-7246. And we'd be happy to discuss our program with you. Basically, in order to receive services, people have to go through a qualification process, and that occurs with Monadnock Developmental Services, who are located at 121 Railroad Street. They have an intake process, and they will do the process that makes people eligible for community care waiver and Medicaid services in the community.
So you have some interesting collaborations going on out in the community. I've heard you mention Antioch University. You've now mentioned Monadnock Developmental Services. Who are some of your other partners that engage with you to really carry out these services?
We also have a coalition of employment service providers in the area that meets on probably a bi-monthly basis, so that we're sort of all on the same wavelength when it comes to how we provide supports, how we engage employers. And that involves vocational rehabilitation as well as other service providers in this region and both sides of the mountains. So.
It's interesting to hear you talk about a coalition like that, because as we think about some of the needs of the Monadnock region, and we know one of them is around financial stability and really economic opportunity for people, having that work group together and people thinking about the workplace and providing that financial stability for people as they move into their future lives, just so important, because it was one of the number one needs here in the Monadnock region, that there isn't always those opportunities for people. So you're really providing that service. And what a unique partnership between you and MDS and making that happen.
Yeah, MDS is a very important player in the whole service system here. They do provide the service coordination, and they work directly with the state on getting the funding streams going for the individuals that we support.
And I know, that that's been a challenging piece, that there's been ongoing cutbacks to these kinds of services pretty much nationwide, both from the federal level. Certainly here in New Hampshire, we've seen substantial cuts to any kind of human services. And so, as the public thinks about this, important too to think about how do you support efforts like this. And I know you mentioned you do a big dance. Do you do any fundraisers during the course of the year that people could join in, could support as part of your efforts?
I mean, pretty much at this point, our fundraisers have been limited to fundraising for individual needs. If somebody needed, a ramp or, some piece of adaptive equipment that would make their life easier. It's something that we are now working with the Development Department and the SCS Board of Directors to consider some more, global fundraising for our program.
Yeah, I think everybody's been faced with that nowadays. It's funny, people look at the United Way, and they certainly give to the United Way, and we appreciate that people do give to the United Way, because these are the kinds of programs that then are able to be supported. But it goes way beyond even what people can do in terms of the United Way. There needs to be that community partnership to really support these efforts outside of the campaign. And to not only give, but to volunteer, because I'm hearing other volunteer opportunities in there too, because as you're talking about ramps and things like this, I would see that there's probably an opening for people to donate supplies or donate their time to build these kinds of things to help assist people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and just as, time, I oftentimes say that on the show, people have heard this over and over. Sometimes if you can't give financially, giving of your time is just as important because it can make a huge difference in people's lives.
It really does. I mean, so if you have an hour a week that you'd like to just come in and share some time, that would be wonderful. I mean, whatever you would feel comfortable doing, I think we'd have a person that could, match your interests or your talents. So,
can you tell us a little bit what's happening statewide around really meeting the needs of the population that has disabilities with services like yours?
Statewide, there's a big emphasis on helping people get employed. That is really, the focus of the biennial plan that we're working with. I think just because it creates independence and self-worth and self-esteem, and eventually it could help people with disabilities work their way out of this cycle of poverty that most people with disabilities live in. When you're tied to the Medicaid system and the disability system, you have some limits on what you can afford to do in your life. So with the opportunity for employment and having a better income gives you a better quality of life.
Such an important message for people to hear, I think, because I think we sometimes think people want to live on the system, and it's not always a choice, and sometimes it's life circumstances. And in this case, you have people trying to work and get out of that life circumstance that they have been faced with and really get ahead.
Right.
And as you mentioned, have that self-worth, that self-esteem. And it sounds like you have folks that really want to be out there and engaged with the community and really being a part of it.
Oh, absolutely. And it makes such a difference in people's lives. I mean, can I share a story?
Yeah, I was going to ask you to.
Okay. I think of one gentleman, I'll just call him Bill. And when Bill came to us about 5 years ago, he was a very debilitated individual. He had some medical issues and had been in and out of the hospital. He could barely walk. He was using a walker. His speech was very slurred, and just connecting with people was very difficult. So we, took probably 6 months, and we worked with him on, just building him up both physically, mentally, and emotionally, and this person started to emerge. He was walking without his walker, his head was up, he was, sitting next to people and interacting with them, and, Sidney became sort of this social butterfly. And over the next couple of years, he continued to progress. He was out in the community, meeting people and doing some volunteer work. And at SCS, we had an initiative to start doing some recycling. And so Bill had done a little volunteer work around that. So we figured he would be a pretty good person to maybe, be a major part of the SCS recycling effort. And now he kind of is in charge, and every week he picks up all the paper, all the cans, all the bottles around SCS. He's in charge of getting the shredded paper sorted from the other paper, helps with some of the shredding, and takes everything that's collected every week up to the recycling center here in Keene. Loves it. He's so proud. He knows every single person who's employed at SCS, and they know him. And it's just such a wonderful thing. He can't wait till Thursday till he gets to walk around and collect paper and visit with everyone. And he earns money doing this now. It's really wonderful.
That's a great story, because we all want our relationships in our life, and to feel needed and wanted, and to feel like we're contributing. And you really gave him that opportunity to do that and to shine, and to really feel like, you mentioned the self-esteem piece, to really feel like he's not just a contributor, but he's really benefiting, which he is, by the way, because recycling is just so important. So
it's made a huge difference at SCS too. We have gone from, I think, 3 dumpster pickups to maybe 2 a week. So, so we're saving money when we're saving the earth, and Bill is making a big difference.
Yeah, Bill's the king of the recycling.
He is. He's also the mayor of New Hope.
Well, that's wonderful. Now, can you talk a little bit about the population that you are serving? Because I think you have some age limitations, and this is an adult program.
Right. It's for adults, people 21 and over, who are, done with the school system. But the age limit extends as long as people are wanting to be active and contributing participants in their community. We've served people up until their 90s at points in time.
And both male and female?
Male and female. We have a nurse consultant on our staff who helps us, set up protocols for any medical issues that people may have. And we're all trained in CPR and first aid and how to administer medication. So if people have any of those kind of needs, people can get specialized therapeutic services out in the community, and staff are trained to, follow different protocols for exercise, or, if people have special dietary needs, we can work and meet those kind of needs for people too.
And I do know that you provide around their nutritional needs, and again, that's become such an important piece of people's well-being, to know that they have that good, stable food and nutritional element each day in their lives, and you're ensuring that for these folks that are participating in your program.
We do our best to,
Yeah.
promote wellness among our population.
Definitely, and the whole recreational aspect, the social, the employment, and then just providing that day respite care for folks, and really giving them a place to go and feel like they belong. Any other work that you're doing that you would want the community to know about?
I just think it's important for people to be aware that the folks that we serve have abilities, and they want to be out there, and they want to work, and they want to contribute, and they want to make a difference. And we're here to help support them, and I think it'll just make our whole community a better place when we welcome diversity and encourage inclusion of people of all abilities.
Well, you know, Lori, I want to say to you that your advocacy for the people that you serve is just wonderful to see, because you're such a great voice in recognizing them and engaging people and really wanting to be a part of this. You know, I'm wanting to go do the swimming therapy with you guys.
Oh, well,
right
join
now.
us right now,
It would
Tuesdays
be-
and Thursdays.
That would be fun to do. That sounds like fun, too.
It's
honestly.
great. It's wonderful. And having an accessible pool at the Y has just made such a difference for people.
And another great community partner for you. There's another
Absolutely.
good example of collaboration going on in the region. And, you know, one of the things I love about the Monadnock region, the audience hears this every once in a while, is how we do work together to make good things happen for people.
It is a wonderful place to be. I can't imagine that our folks would have as many opportunities as they do now if it wasn't for the community that we live in. I mean, people do come together to meet needs, and it's a wonderful place.
And, you know, we're still challenged by there's still a lot of needs out there. We see this. You have needs for employers to employ the folks you're working with, and certainly for volunteers. So we encourage you, audience, to get involved. Give Lori a call. Lori, can you share with the audience one more time how to reach out and contact you?
Sure, you can give us a call at 603-352-7512. Extension 4266. Our cell phone is 603-313-7246. Or you can visit our website, which is www.scshelps.org, and you can look for New Hope, New Horizons.
So lots of ways you can reach out. The other thing is, if folks call 211, if that's all you can remember is to call 211, 211 can refer you to services like this. They'll help you connect. So if you're someone in need of the service, someone that wants to volunteer for a service like this, reach out directly to Southwestern Community Services and Lori Meisner there, or call 211. And 211 will hook you up with her, I'm sure. So,
Right.
Lori, I want to thank you for joining us. Just fabulous work that you're doing, and we so appreciate your contributions as an employee in a place like this, but also to the community and the well-being and the health of the Monadnock region. So thank you for being there. Thank you for being there for the people you serve, and thank you for the service itself. I know it's much more than you, and there's some great people that are connected and part of this.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about my program, about Southwestern, and, you know, thank you to the United Way for all they do for this community. You bring so many people together and help so many people partner to make this a better place.
Well, thanks, Lori. We couldn't do it without all of you, so
Thanks,
we do
Kelly.
appreciate it. So I will leave you with a good night and a reminder to give, to volunteer, to advocate, to be part of Living United in the Monadnock region. Thanks for joining us.